The Secretary of the Treasury of the United States, Janet Yellen, said a lot of very interesting things during a Lev CN show. Since then, these comments have caused a lot of argument and talk in the financial markets and among people who use cryptocurrencies. People talked about new ideas and the future of financial technology all the time. But very quickly, it turned into what many people are calling a historic leak about the government's stance on XP, which is one of the controversial and exciting digital assets in the cryptocurrency industry. It's possible, Secretary, when you first look at what Yellen said about the Treasury's ongoing work to make cross-border payments more efficient in its research into new financial technology, it might not seem like a big deal. But these words carry a lot more weight when seen through the eyes of people who know and are inside the situation. Not only is efficiency in cross-border settlements a bunch of fancy words, but also means something. It is clear that there is a plan to use new technologies that could speed up, lower the cost, and improve the security of foreign money transfers safety. XRP is a great choice for this method because of the unique ways it works. A well-known expert on body language gave a thorough analysis of Janet Yellen's actions during the broadcast after the interview, focusing on small but telling signs. She seemed to be involved in a more complicated and maybe even secret plan involving XR by the way she nodded, the long pauses she took before answering some questions, and even the way she moved her eyes. It is possible for some people not to have faith when looking at this. Regardless, it has caused a lot of excitement, which makes it more likely that the U.S. Treasury is planning to use XRP in its own operations or push it as part of a larger plan to change the way money works. XRP has reached a major turning point with the chance that the U.S. Treasury could either accelerate or push it towards adoption. In the past, XRP was closely watched and regulated, mostly because it is seen as an investment token. However, this event shows that the government's views may have changed from doubt to strategic acceptance. If this is true, it means the government thinks XRP has the potential to change how money moves between systems and countries. A thing like this would have huge effects on other people. You should think about how many huge financial deals happen every day in the US and around the world. A lot of them are held up or become unclear because of processes that are too slow, too expensive, or too hard to understand. XRP blockchain technology is a good option that offers speed and openness that can't be beat. For a very low price, it can settle thousands of deals per second, which makes it a very appealing choice. Not only is XRP a currency that can be used for speculation, it is also an important part of the infrastructure that could bring modernization to foreign banking. This is because it has such high-tech features. It's very possible that this change would lead to a strategic asset would lead to there has been a big rise in interest from institutions. A lot of banks, investment companies, payment processors, and government agencies would like to buy XRP so they can use it in their own businesses. Should there be such a huge rise in demand, the price of XRP could hit $10,000 per token. In the past, this goal was thought to be impossible to reach because of how market models and the links between supply and demand work. However, it is looking more and more likely that it will be done. Events from the real world were used as the base for the calculations that were used to come up with this price. There's never been a greater need for quick payment options than there is now, since trillions of dollars are moved through the global financial system every day. To keep up with demand, the market value of tokens would have to rise very quickly if XRP becomes a common way to manage cash and settle transactions between countries. The 10,000 price of the token takes into account how many are already out there, how quickly they are expected to be accepted, and how important they are becoming in a business that is becoming more and more digitalized. Not only does this event make people wonder about the price of XRP, but it also makes people question what they think about digital assets in general. Around the same time that digital currencies are changing from specialized tools for speculation to necessary parts of the world's financial system. In this way, it shows that the crypto world is getting more developed. Things like clearer rules, new technologies, and more teamwork between blockchain projects and government bodies are some of the things that have led to this growth. Looking at it from a legal point of view, the fact that the U.S. Treasury is interested in XRP could speed up efforts to make the rules about digital assets clearer. There hasn't been enough clarity about the law, which has made it much harder for people to adopt and spend. It's possible that weak or strong backing from a high-level government official could lead to changes in the laws and rules, which would make things more stable and good for everyone. Investors have a chance that will only come up once in a very long time. Because of what Yellen said as secretary based on how the market responded, there are early signs that a paradigm shift is happening more often. If you wait for future confirmations or public statements, you might miss out on the chance to be a part of one of the biggest changes in world history in terms of money at an earlier stage. Paying close attention to these changes and acting on them will greatly help those who do. Beyond the physical, it is also important to think about the psychic part of this event. You know that feelings, thoughts, all of these things have a big effect on the markets. Because the clip was seen around the world and body language analysis was done, both small misers and big players have shown a lot of energy. Already, this newfound excitement is leading to more sales, more social media activity, and more interest in investing. In response to this, a feedback process is being set up that could speed up the price increase. What will happen with XRP in the future will depend on a lot of important factors. Paying close attention to the results of laws, new technologies, claims of more use, and bigger macroeconomic trends is going to be very important. But one thing that was made clear by the most recent CNN show is that XRP is getting attention from the top levels of government and finance. This means that it could become an important part of the growing digital economy. As the situation continues to develop, businesses and people who are keeping an eye on it will need to stay smart, aware, and, well, proactive. In a world that is always changing, understanding the subtleties of government communications, market signals, and technology advances will help people make better decisions in a world that is always changing and, to be honest, often unpredictable. Additionally, Janet Yellen's words, which at first glance did not seem to be important, have started a new chapter in the history of XP and the use of cryptocurrencies. They make us question what we thought was true at first and make us think about a world where digital assets are very important to the global financial system. A cryptocurrency called XRP is about to make a big step forward that could completely change how money works. The coin wants to reach $10,000 and banks are becoming interested in it. We appreciate your help with this broad investigation. You should subscribe and turn on alerts to make sure you always know about the newest ideas and stories. What will happen to money and digital goods in the future? Now is the time to start your journey. Read the news. Prepare yourself.